you know what March 25th is, Willie?
It's not the Ides of March.
No, it happens to be Greek Independence Day.
Today?
Yes, this is the 4th of July of Greece, commemorating the triumph over the barbaric Turks of 500 years of subjugation.
Who won?
Well, right now it's at an impasse.
Oh, well, at least we didn't lose.
Let's hope that peace and tranquility will prevail, not only in far-off Greece and Turkey, but also here in our United States.
Precisely. You know, yesterday we sang the Good Morning song.
Yes.
And we had to stand on the table because we were singing so high.
It was a little high. Maybe today we can bring it down a little bit.
Sing a little lower, Dave.
Good morning, good morning. It's grand to be on hand. Good morning to you. I think that had a familiar ring to it, Willie.
Yes, it was a telephone, I think. It was just a...
And a big welcome to Clancy the Cop, who is sitting with us here in the studios of CTV North Suburbs tonight at our VIP club meeting. It's none other than John Gallos. John, welcome here, my friend.
Thank you, Gene.
It's great to have you as part of our studio group tonight.
Oh,
it's a special occasion for us, and it's great to have you here.
Well, you're very kind, Gene, to have invited me, and I'm just thrilled to be doing this. You know, when I heard that famous theme song introducing Clancy and Willie, the adrenaline started flowing already.
Yeah, I'll bet it did, John. Well, I was thinking, John, your career began in 1950. Is that right? Your television career.
Right.
My guess is that you are the true veteran of Twin Cities television. Is
one of many.
Well, one of many, but you're still active is the interesting point. You're still at work at Channel 4.
Not quite as active as I used to be, but I report in every day, and I have my voicemail telephone, I have my desk, and am
still
heard
hear your voice on the air?
Yeah,
and,
public service announcements, promos, an occasional commercial, just kind of keeps me in shape.
And the lottery numbers.
Oh,
I keep waiting, John. We're friends, but you never seem to come through with my numbers.
Well,
I'm waiting for the day and hoping against hope that that'll happen.
Well, it's interesting what you have to do to earn a living in television, especially to try to survive 45 years. To give you the juxtaposition of what I was doing at one point, I had the religious program Sunday morning, and I was reading the lottery numbers at the other end of the week.
Yeah, right.
I got a call from one of my many clergy friends, and it was Monsignor so-and-so, and he said, John, he said, I enjoy your religious show, but you're reading lottery numbers? I said, well, that's true. One has to make a living. By the way, Monsignor, how are the bingo games going down there at church?
That settled the issue, I'm sure. That's a little double barb there. Yeah. John, I just want to acknowledge for our audience that not only have you been in the business for, that would be 45 years, if my arithmetic is at all accurate.
45 years with Channel 4. Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. And before that, of course, you were active in media. But with Channel 4, you were in the early days an occasional weatherman, you were a news reporter, a news anchor. You did some sports reporting, a ton of commercials.
Yes.
And your career includes, as you were just mentioning, this very distinguished period of time when you produced and hosted an important religious program called Sunday Morning with John Gallos.
Right.
And we'll talk a little more about that, John. But
thank you.
The main idea tonight is to look at your career as you spent many years hosting children's television programs.
Indeed.
And many in the audience here obviously remember some of those shows, and we have a lot of tape that you were good enough to bring, and we'll look at some of those taped episodes.
Well,
and we want to talk some more about children's television and what it is, perhaps, what it might be, and pick your brains on that. Both my opportunity to do that, and then we're going to walk among the crowd and ask for some questions from them.
Hey,
how does that sound?
Sounds like an action-packed hour, Gene. I'm with you all the way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good, John. Let's recall some of the highlights of your children's career. The longest running, because I want to say you did several kinds of programs in which you assume different characters.
That's true.
The longest running would have been Clancy the Cop?
Yeah, Clancy was the most durable of all the characters.
Okay.
Later on, we'll show you how it all started with a very unusual character that not all of the audience will remember, some of them. Commodore Cappy, who was a curmudgeon who lived aboard a fanciful atomic submarine.
Yeah, right.
That lasted 2 years. And then it switched over to Clancy the Keystone Cop. And that ran for another 2 years, from 59 to 61. And then Clancy the Space Cop. For a while there, we were very interested in Sputnik and all of the activity going out into outer space. And so we did the space thing. And that didn't last too long, but then came the most durable character, just plain old Clancy the Cop.
Clancy the Cop. Why don't you hold that up for our
children are sticklers for detail, and they used to, when they met me in person, would finger my badge. And they'd say, "Is that a real badge?" And indeed, yes. I have a collection of badges from police departments all over the state of Minnesota. And I wore them proudly and represented the good police folk with great respect. You know, Gene, it's hard to believe, but looking back there in the 60s, those were difficult times, and policemen were being referred to by some as pigs. You remember that?
Remember that? Yes, indeed.
And the police were having a lot of problems, of course, in the wake of what's been happening in Los Angeles. I guess they still have problems with their image.
Problems are still there.
But I would like to think that the preponderant number of them are good, solid citizens.
Absolutely.
Good police, and they're to help. To protect and defend, as we say. And I tried to build the image of a television policeman as a friendly guy, somebody the kids could look
really
up to,
relate to,
but somebody that they could talk to. And the police knew that I was doing this sort of thing, and occasionally they would come on the show and
I think we've got
and give me an honorary badge. And so at home I have a drawer full of police badges.
John,
yes, here we are. These are a couple of members of the Minneapolis Police Department who paid a visit, and they were extremely happy with our traffic safety program, which was a part of almost every program. And then, of course, the idea of don't let strangers pick you up, take certain precautions, first aid, all those good things. Here was yet another policeman, this one from Bloomington, and I was happy to receive a badge making me an honorary member of the Bloomington Police Department. I used to be asked when I went out on personal appearances, and I would give away this card, by the way, to the hundreds and hundreds of youngsters who would come to see Clancy. And they'd say, "Are you a real policeman, Clancy?" You know, children are extremely perceptive. And I'd say, "No, I'm not a real policeman in that sense, but I am a television policeman." And right away, you know, they caught on. They realized what it was all about.
They got the picture.
And you heard me raising my voice in song with my ace sidekick, Willie Ketchum. And this historic little picture here shows you part of our set. This was supposedly a detective bureau. And you see on the door there it says Clues Closet. We loved using puns, you know. And so I named my sidekick Willie Ketchum. And then you drop the question mark, Willie Ketchum. You know? He will catch him, yes. And we had almost kind of a running plot. And, you know, like Pearl White in the old movie days, we try to cliffhang it at the end. So the mystery would continue. Be sure to tune in tomorrow and see if we can find out what is in Willie Ketchum's briefcase or some such thing.
You know, Dale and I were watching some of the tapes that you brought, Dale Irving and I, and we were wondering, was this show in any way scripted? Did you and Willie talk about what you were going to do and then just wing it, John? It seems so genuine, huh? Well, and some of the gags seem to occur, you know, right at that moment.
Well, I guess if you were going to talk to a professional television personality, say at the network level, they'd say, to make this appear like it's ad-lib and to make it appear like it's spur of the moment, we rehearse for hours and hours and hours. You don't have that luxury at the local level, but we would have meetings. We didn't have scripts. We had meetings, and we would say, now, this being close to Halloween, during Halloween week, let's have this progression. On Monday, we'll have strange noises. Tuesday, we'll have a mysterious package that's delivered. Wednesday, we'll shake the package, and we'll have different sounds issue from the package. On Friday, we'll open it and reach in. But we won't show you what it is until Monday, so tune in Monday. And that's the way we kind of milked it, so to speak.
Indeed.
We would milk some of those plots for weeks, Gene. But it was great fun, and that was some of the buffoonery, and we went for the laughs, and the premise. I'm not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. We were not there to educate, Gene. We were there to entertain. Of course. Because children are being educated all day long, and you know, when they turn on the TV, they want to relax. They don't want to be preached to. So we emphasized entertainment, but we had the buffoonery and the fun to kind of win them over, so to speak, and that made it possible to insert some of the more serious thoughts. Now, here's one of the other serious activities. We had poster contests, and one of our sponsors, I think in this case Donaldson's, helped us promote that. We'd receive hundreds of posters to get kids thinking about traffic safety. And the winners of the contest would get a nice prize.
John, you also had visits. I'm looking at another still photo here. You had visits from the Como Zoo. Docents would appear from time to time.
Yes, as Willie referred to them, decent docents. And here's one who, and if you look carefully here, she is sitting on a giant turtle. And if there are any biologists out there, is it a turtle or a tortoise? I'm not sure. I don't want to play the shell game.
Let's hope that didn't blow us right off the air, Tom.
But that was fascinating because those nice people from the Como Zoo would bring a variety of animals and do a very educational feature which often ran 5 to 10 minutes on our show.
The interesting thing is that we've done a lot of cable programming with some of the excellent folk over at Como Zoo, and we had a great producer that did it. Aside to what we're talking about here, but obviously many of those programs also had an appeal for children, just as yours did.
Oh, yes. How nice you provide the outlet for the zoo, because you don't have the local live children's show anymore, and that makes it very difficult.
We want to return to that theme, too, John.
Yes.
I see we have a picture of puppets here, John.
Oh, yes.
Why don't we show that? And we want to get back to your puppeteer, who has been with you, who was with you for us many years.
Yes, well, I had a number of people serving as puppeteers. Here I'm doing it all by myself. I'm holding 2 hand puppets. In my left hand, Clover the cow, in my right hand, Leaf the bull calf. And you put those together, and it's one of our sponsors, the Clover Leaf Creamery folks. And I used to make personal appearances, not only for my sponsors, but for many civic organizations. Here's a typical crowd that gathered at a neighborhood grocery store in South Minneapolis. And way over there on the extreme left side, you see the Clover Leaf truck parked there. And we would present each youngster with a carton of delicious chocolate drink and a picture of Clancy. And as you can see, we succeeded in attracting quite a large crowd, which was kind of a win-win situation. It helped build up an audience for my TV show, but also made the sponsors very happy as well. And let's face it, you have to please those sponsors when you work for a commercial TV station, which Channel 4 was and is.
And is today. But that's a crowd.